Hello, my trading warrior brothers and sisters. Wicked Wednesday. Let's see what's going on here today. Alexander, hello. Ren, Brock. You know, I look forward to saying good morning to you guys. Kevin and Arena, Scott Henderson, and it's a good friend, and Marco, George, everyone. It's very nice to, be greeted like that. Thank you, everyone. So I'm looking at the S&Ps, and can you see this line right here? We had, it looks like a little bit of a wedge, maybe a shorter time frame shows it. So, if I was to anchor it, say here, right? Kind of a channel or a wedge, which means if we break down, we could go to 3,800 here. George, how are you? Everyone see that? So, I've had 3 scalps. And it kind of proves that most of my trades the last several months have been on the short side of the S&P. So I did this Sunday night, made money. Did this, made money. Was underwater a little bit here, but added on up here, making money. Okay, so I tweeted yesterday that if you're a turning point type of trader and you use divergences and 3 drives, etc., that when you're trading, you really never know if it's going to be just a turn like this, a turn, and you never know if it's going to be the turn until time passes. Okay, so you're in it just trading a turn, just a turn. It's not necessarily the turn. Okay, and no one knows if it's going to be the turn until you look in your rearview mirror. Everyone understand that? Give me Y if you're with me. So what's important about that? So that means that you always have to take partials along the way. Because if I didn't take partials or I didn't take profits at all after this, 60, 70 handle break or this one, I'd still be here not making money. Okay, now probably losing money. So you have to book something when it's working. I mean, if you have the S&Ps working even 20 handles in your favor, if you don't take a piece of that, it's, and then it turns out not to be the high or a high, you'll go broke trying to be there for the high or the low instead of just a high or a low. So, it took me a long time to start doing it myself because I'd be afraid of missing it and it turning into the instead of a. Everyone with me on that? So partial profits are a very important part of money management because if you're not ringing the register and you're just, waiting for that one big turn, you could go broke waiting for it when you could have been capturing some pips and some income along the way. So that's my and you can add back on if you still, it's not so difficult. You want to make it easy, Arena? Say, for example, you do one standard lot. Hi, DJ. Okay, break it up into 0.3s. Okay, break it up. And that way it's easier to take a piece off. Okay. And in fact, I even go in, entries are that way for me too. Yeah, give it a shot. Okay, there's something else I want to talk about here. And I want to talk about the crew before I turn it over. Yeah, scale in, scale out, piece in, piece out. What happens is once in a while when you get good, you hit things on the button and then you expect it always to be that way. And it's the exception, not the rule, right? So I want to talk about our team and why it's important for you to take the next step of moving from face to becoming, part of our community. So, we're in here for face, and yes, we've shortened face because, people said, we're giving so much away in face that, why should they join? Well, I'll tell you why you should join. Same reason that gives me the advantage is seeing everyone's work, right? And then in members chat, almost all of the team are in there. Greg, maybe not so much, but Blake and Stell and Steve and you have Amanda in there and you have Paul in there. Okay, so you have a lot of professionals in there. Andre drops in. Leandro, I'm sure, is in there at times. So after face is over, I can go to all of the work on the dashboard. And if it's still not clear to me, I could go into members chat. And this question you're asking me, Jay, why is gold stuck here? If you were in members chat right now, hi, Humphrey. I'm sure that Steve or Blake or Stell or Paul or someone would have a good answer for you. Okay. So, I don't think gold is stuck. Oh, come on, Jay. All right. So I just want to encourage you guys to, if we're helping you in face, really the way to say thank you and for yourself is to, give yourself the edge and work with a bunch of pros every day. So we'll see what happens. I'm still bearish the S&Ps. I'll throw in the towel over yesterday's highs. I'm not going to fight it, even to 78.6. It's got to get going to the downside here. I don't know when. I don't really know when. I think Congress is going to vote on the bill today, and President Joseph Biden will sign it tomorrow. So, there's no news unless, something falls apart, but I don't think it will. So keep an eye on this wedge. Dixie looks like, this is a confirmed high. I don't think this is a high. Can we pull back to maybe a breakout, 91.60? Yes. And on a day like this, these are the kind of days, well, both the euro and cable they're both coming back. We could have another pop left in the dollar, another pop left in Aussie, so the dollar could weaken. So this should be the chance with the dollar weakening and yields having come off. Why aren't we at new highs yet? We're still 90 handles away from new highs. Yeah, EG looks interesting. We're holding the previous low here, this previous low. So it could be turning. I actually wouldn't mind seeing it take out the low first. So not doing anything new with that. And there's an auction today. Okay. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how many bonds the Fed buys. I don't know who else buys them. We'll see what the appetite of Jerome Powell is today, right? Okay. I'm going to bring Blake in. And Blake, how are you today? How's it going? Kind of feels a little bit like a dead board today.
Yeah, it's kind of slow. I don't know why the dollar just came under pressure there, but it's like nothing's going on this morning. Like things are, you're seeing moves and you don't even know why, moves are happening. That's what happens when, like I was telling everybody this morning, I went to sleep and I got up and most currencies were at the exact same spot. Now that didn't mean we didn't get some moves, but we got a little bit of movement. But I think the important comment you just made just a moment ago was that we have the bond market. We have an auction today, and it is a 10-year Treasury. And I was listening to CNBC this morning, and they're talking about it, and everybody's just saying, hey, we need to. It's the market's going to be kind of quiet until that that auction today. So the reason why that is, and as you pointed out, we had the stimulus bill that's widely, it's going to be voted on today, and it's going to pass, and everybody knows. The question is it already baked into the price of the market? My opinion is it is, right? Everybody knows.
Yeah, I mean, it's baked, it's crispy, and it's overdone.
Baked, crispy, and overdone. So
yeah,
You never know.
huh?
What's that?
You never know. I mean,
Never know what. They're not going to vote. They're going to vote.
No. If it's priced in, I'm saying that half serious, half joking, because just remember how many times the market priced in the US-China deal, how many times the market priced in the vaccine, like 100 times each.
Well, this is, but the deal, like everybody knows, it's telegraph. I even got a call from my nephew, one of my nephews yesterday. He's like, "Oh, I got a piece of mail from the IRS, and they said that they're going to be depositing." I mean, so everybody knows, like there's already like mail circulating in the like it's already like our government already sent out.
I know.
The correspondence, like it is going to be passed. So I found that kind of interesting. So I mean, obviously it's baked in at this point. Now what the market does, what the market's going to be looking at is going to be looking at the bond market, because as I alluded to yesterday when I was on Twitter, you got the bond market, and the bond market, David Tepper was, his comments on Monday, suggested that, bonds are done going down. They're going to bounce. Yields are going to come back down again. And so that's important, because I think the entire market right now is trying to find something to do, and they're looking at these moves and they're like, okay, hey, the bond market did come down. Yields have gone up to, 1.6%. So, they're going to come back down again. They're getting a little overdone here. And so you can see bonds, they've bounced a little bit, but I would venture to, I would actually say they're still in breakdown territory.
You still short yen, Blake? U.S. dollar yen. Good call from the other day.
I pulled that off yesterday. I pulled
Okay.
off like 43 pips or something.
No, well, gosh, I feel sorry for you.
Well, I could have stuck around.
Oh, you don't live there,
huh?
You don't live there.
I don't live in shoulda, woulda, coulda land. No, I don't.
See,
it's all here and now.
You don't know what you're missing.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, Blake, you're not missing anything.
I should have bought when the S&P was at 2,400.
And then I could have.
And I could have made just $1 million. Wham, boo. Where's my participation medal? It's funny.
You are participating.
So my son, he competed in this tournament, and last 4 weeks ago, in a soccer tournament, and it was a hard tournament. I mean, it was like they lost 3 of their games by like 1 goal last couple minutes, that type of thing. And at the very end, they lost. It was like first and second place, and then they got like they won third place, the consolation, whatever. And of course, you don't get a gold or a silver medal, because in third place, you just, and the tournaments don't do this normally, but they gave him like a participation medal, and he looked at it. We walked off the field. He threw it in the garbage can on the way out. He's like, thanks. I was proud of him. He's like, what's that going to do? It's funny. No one else thought about it.
No, what?
Yeah, my kids don't.
He's like, what? Winning is what counts.
I think it's the new.
He's like, look,
I think it's a new political correctness approach that everybody has to live. Any tournament or whatever, having won something.
Yeah, you know that. Well, that's the way it's been. I really think it's been that way for the last at least 20 years. And I look at that since my kids have been, since my kids are born, all kids get a participation medal. My son, both of my kids don't believe in it. I've taught him like, dude, you're not what you
Yeah,
didn't win.
participating is not actually an achievement,
No,
right?
no, just
Unless it's sex.
Well,
True.
yeah, I always like to participate in that. No
Okay.
matter how I get to do.
Depends on the partner, not
No,
Okay,
anything
all
and
right.
but
about it.
I've never won a
Let's
medal.
off topic, guys. Come on.
All right.
All right. So I guess
Once Dale and
I
I
want to point
go
out
off,
it could go down a deep, dark
yeah,
rabbit
very
hole.
deep hole, yeah.
So just to be clear, and then I'm going to pass it over to Steven Stellis, and you guys can go have those conversations. Nothing's
come on, you
moved
prude.
overnight. You can see that the currency markets are very slow. I had orders and still have orders to sell the euro dollar on a move to 119.50. I think that any move put a 119.50 is going to be a selling opportunity. We're going to eventually break the 200-day moving average, and we're going to come back to the mid one teens, and it's going to give us all opportunities to get long the euro somewhere down here. That's how I'm playing it now. So I'm looking to be a seller between 119.50 and 120, basically. And the only reason why we're going to get up here, it just depends on, how far the equity markets continue to go. And, again, is everything priced in or not? My chart of the day yesterday was the S&P. If you didn't read my analysis, it's free on our blog.
Great look.
Yeah, well, it's just, it's a triangle, guys. I mean, that's it. That's why
And the megaphone.
if you follow me on Twitter and you saw my tweet yesterday about 3,900 being key resistance, it's because it was the top of the triangle. That's it. But the other thing that we got to keep an eye on is NASDAQ is still trading heavy. If yields go up today, so let me say this slowly. If yields go up today, the NASDAQ's going to go down. You're going to see the NASDAQ come back under pressure. And remember, it is very much underperforming. Tesla had a nice bounce yesterday, but if you didn't see that, Tesla bounced just to the 38% retracement and a downtrend line. And I know everybody's like, ooh, look at Tesla. It's up, 18%. Well, whenever you're in a bear market, the rallies or the short covering rallies are usually very aggressive. So that's very aggressive, right? So if we are in a new bear market for Tesla and we're eventually going to see, like, let's say $200-300 a share, which is entirely possible, then these types of sharp short covering rallies that, are 20-25% before they roll back over again is very, very common. All right. And I want to point out one last chart really quick. The DAX, we're at all-time highs. We're near.
Why is that happening?
I'm sorry?
I'm wondering why the DAX is making new highs without the S&P.
Value.
Probably.
Value.
How about euro weakness helping it?
Yeah, euro weakness definitely helps, and I think value. You got a lot of people looking for.
I agree with Blake. I agree with Blake. I mean, in comparison, it's a cheap market in comparison to the US markets.
Okay.
So a lot of people want to rotate, plus a lot of these companies offer a yield. They're not as speculative as all those companies that have actually been pulling the NASDAQ and the S&P higher. So value. Yeah, I'm 100% with Blake there.
Yeah. And so, so again, I just want to point out really quick, and then I'll let Steve and Stelios go here, is just that, I think the markets are consolidating. Try not to get too directional. The auction today, the 10-year, and it's a 10-year treasury auction, is going to be at 1 Eastern, I think is what it is 1 o'clock Eastern. And so, keep that in mind as we move through today. It's at 1. I have it at 11 o'clock my time. So is that correct? Yeah. And I'm really, and I have to say, I'm very bummed out that we're doing a time change this weekend, because I'm going to Dale's time zone this weekend.
Wasn't that
Welcome
supposed
to my
to?
world.
Wasn't that
Sucks.
supposed to like end last year or whatever the time changes?
I wish. It'd be nice if it was just like one, well, for me, it doesn't change. You guys understand? Like, I never adjust my clocks.
Yeah, I mean the rest.
Because my
changing.
job
Too
with you
complicated for
guys,
zonies. Yeah.
I have to change, my actual day changes, to
You'll
work
get
around you
used
guys.
to it
But it should all be about
again.
me. So.
One of our listeners
You'll
says
get
in
used to it again.
one of our listeners says in 2024 he thinks
What?
that one of our listeners says that he thinks in 2024
We'll
it's
see
going to
about
end.
that.
Hey,
I hope
Blake,
so.
before you go, can you put up your S&P chart with that triangle again?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I really like
there
the
it is.
confluence. I know I'm really getting ahead of myself because it may not do that, but see where your moving average and the megaphone line are tagging each other? That
Oh,
confluence.
the 200-day moving average. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I actually think that at this megaphone pattern, I mean, we're obviously we're going to trade higher or lower once we break out of this triangle. But I do think that this is ultimately where we're going to be going.
If we break down.
To break down, we're going to go to at least 3,600. Maybe we'll go down to the bottom of the megaphone pattern down to 3,500. But I think 3,600 is one of those areas that'll give us all an opportunity for a tradable bounce and risk. All right, guys.
All right. Thanks, Blake.
Thanks. Good luck, everybody. And just remember, for those of you that are ForexAnalytix subscribers, we have the bias chart analysis, or what we call the morning edge analysis. Happens in 55 minutes from now. And you don't have to be a full subscriber of ForexAnalytix. You can be a light subscriber, right? And when you try out ForexAnalytix, it's only $1, and you get to actually try the premium version. So when you're trying it out, come join us in the chat room. All right. Okay. I'll see you guys.
All right.
Bye-bye,
Thanks for luck today.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Delios. See you, Steve. See you, Coach.
Okay.
Hey, buddy.
Hey,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Hey, guys. Yeah.
So
Hey, Steve.
yields, we have 10-year auction, 38 billion or something like that. And tomorrow we have 20 something of 30 years. So yes, so yields is something to keep an eye on. The break in 10-year is kind of happening, but it's not convincing yet. We had the move lower yesterday. What was it, 5 basis points? So it's building, I think, but it needs to show some follow through. What's interesting is oil is still looking pretty good. Obviously, after this huge run, it's gonna pull back at some point. Then it does pull back, but it only lasts like a day or two, and then it resumes. We're at $65 in WTI, and oil.
Yeah,
at
look
these
how
levels,
it perfectly found support, retesting
yes,
previous area of resistance so far.
Yes. And with oil at these levels, you're going to start seeing inflation come through, no matter how they measure it, because so many products are influenced by the price of oil in the production, in the distribution, everything, and you're going to see that. And one of
of course, initially, as always, they'll claim that it's transitory.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's the key word there, transitory.
Yes. I was looking today. We had Norway CPI, 3.3% year on year. I mean, this was like
transitory. Don't worry about
it. A few months ago. Let me just check the chart. Yeah, it was 0.5% in December. There you go. And now it's 3.3%.
Knowing the Norwegian Stelio, my assumption is that there is no real difference between, for example, the US inflation and Norwegian. Actually, if I had to bet, I would bet that US has higher inflation than Norway, but knowing the Norwegians, I'm pretty sure they're more honest in measuring it.
In reporting it, yes, exactly.
Yes. I'm pretty sure about it.
Yeah. And obviously the Norwegians, their economy is affected a lot by oil more than other countries, but still, you're starting to see this, and we have CPI out of the US coming up in 5 minutes. So, inflation is slowly creeping its head higher and, appearing. We've forgotten about inflation for so many years now.
The fun part with transitory inflation is that it assumes that at the end of a year, prices reset back to where they were the previous year. I mean, let's say I have 5% inflation this year, and for 10 different reasons, it's transitory, right? And next year, indeed, let's say it drops to 2%. I mean, that was still a 5% diminishment of your purchasing power in a year,
Yes.
which you're not getting back.
Yes.
So it's funny because even the term transitory, in essence, is deceiving because it's not transitory. I mean, it might be influenced by some factors that will not continue to push it higher next year, but the effect is there and
Yeah.
stays there. Many
Unless
people don't realize
you
that.
get deflation the next year and it gets
Yeah,
cancelled
and
out.
what was the last year that we actually had deflation?
What,
Remind.
1870 something? What was it?
Yeah.
No, but,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
So it's not transitory; it's there to stay.
Yeah. The interesting thing we had today, and it came out the wires a few minutes ago. Bank of Japan, they said that they're going to allow the yield curve. They're going to seek freer yield fluctuations after review. So basically, yield curve control, whatever they're doing, they're saying they're going to allow a freer fluctuation, whatever that means. And if that's true, and take it with a pinch of salt, but that's what they said, and that's moving yen pairs a little bit today.
Yeah,
freer,
whatever. Yeah.
Overall, though, for me, the big picture, nothing has changed yet. Unfortunately, we're just more of the same. We're chopping one way, chopping the other way. Yields are the only thing that have changed a little bit in the past weeks. But again, there we need to see a more convincing move before I can say, yeah, this is it. So unfortunately, there's not that much changing in the big picture of things. We do have Canadian interest rate decision as well.
I don't assume that we expect anything to write home about there.
No. Well,
Canadian, by the way, the USD CAD still riding the resistance of this descending channel, and as long as it's not breaking higher, there is no real technical reason other than momentum divergence to look higher, and the exact same thing applies to USD NOK. USD NOK remains trapped in this rectangle given the fact that we are in a strong downtrend. This might just prove to be a consolidation before we actually resume lower. As I said yesterday, we get a couple of more days of dollar weakness, and the chances that this was it, having to do with the dollar's rebound, increase substantially. Cable, for example, the move lower so far can be seen as a three-wave corrective move so far. We also got yesterday a nice morning star formation. Aussie Kiwi found support at interesting areas. The S&P looks like, for the time being, that it's much more prone to resume to the upside for at least one more high than to break down. Of course, we're currently at resistance, so buying it here makes no sense, but we slice through this trend line resistance, and I think that more or less we're looking at a new high, as the Dow Jones had already done. Nasdaq had a massive rally yesterday, might also be in a corrective formation. We have to break out though first, before we can say that, but yesterday's rally was rather massive. I think it was the strongest day of the year so far, if I'm not mistaken. In the Nasdaq, the DAX, we've already said that it has broken higher and it's gunning for that 14,788 target at all-time highs, bottom line. So risk assets seem to have either resumed moving higher or to be about to do so, and that is definitely not painting a good picture for dollar longs. I think this week is going to be important to determine if actually that's it with the dollar rebound and the risk asset correction or not. So having said that, one last note: do we have a guest, Dale?
Yes, I don't see Angie in the room yet, and I talked to her earlier.
Okay.
So Angie sets her to talk about the grain market.
Okay, that's going to be interesting, actually, especially given the outlook, the fundamental outlook that we
Right.
have. By the way, we just got some data, and here they are. Pay whatever attention you want to them. Personally,
Yeah, 0.1 is not going to change anything.
Personally, Stelio, I'm very sorry to say that, but some pieces of US data like inflation, I pay to them as much attention as I pay to Chinese data.
Yes. Yes.
Massive rebounds higher also yesterday from the metals. I find it particularly important given the area from which gold produced this rebound. So I think that if we hold this 1680 level, which is still a confluence, a key confluence of supports at gold, there is a chance that we will have found a low here. You know that my long-term outlook is anyhow that this is a corrective move and we're headed much, much higher. Let's see if we actually saw the low 2 days ago. Is your guest now here, Dale?
No.
Okay. Let me see then if we have any questions. Apple investing 1 billion in new facility in Munich, says Forex Gal. By the way, Munich, I love it. A very, very, very nice city and a very, very nice museum. By the way, you need at least a couple of days to go over the Munich Museum. And if you ever find yourself there, make sure you also arrange a tour at the BMW facilities there in Munich. It's also very interesting. Do you think absolute rate is rising the velocity that Nasdaq cares about? If you mean real rates, yes, real rates are all that matters. BMW Motorcycle Museum in Munich as well, says Baroque. Actually, I haven't visited that. Next time I will. Thanks for your suggestion. And if you find yourself there, make sure to watch some proper football between Bayern Munich and whoever plays. You're going to appreciate it. We have a question about USD INR and the Nifty. We can as well have a look at those.
Angie, are you in the house? Go ahead.
Is she?
No.
Okay.
It would come up in text or.
Yeah. Okay, so you see, still trapped in this range, right? In this triangle. So, nothing really to see here and having to do with the Nifty that you asked for. So far, a bullish consolidation as far as I'm concerned, right? So, we do have momentum divergence. So, obviously risk reward doesn't anymore favor the upside, but that doesn't mean that we can't have, at least one more push to the upside first. And Bank Nifty seems to be building a nice bull flag here, right? So I would assume one more move higher before a deeper correction lower. Stocks spiking up. Let's have a look at the S&P. Yeah, S&P flirting with this area of resistance. As I said before, I think that the chances are much in favor of a break higher from here, right? I mean, this formation looks purely corrective to me. Beautiful also bottoming candlestick formation with forming that tweezer bottom here, 5th of March. So, yeah, I mean, very likely we're breaking higher today. VIX. Here's the VIX.
Well, she must be confused about the time change.
Okay, Dale. So we wrap it up and we meet again in 40 minutes.
Yeah, I'll reschedule, Angie. All right, Steve, thanks very much. You sound like in top shape. What a great recovery. It shows, you know, how strong you are to recover from something like that so quickly. And it's so much better than a winning trade to have you,
Undoubtedly.
to have you feeling better, even for
Yeah,
me
I'm feeling just
and
fine.
for everyone. So, okay, everyone, sorry, I'll have Angie back in June in the middle of the drought that we'll be having by then in the famine, and we'll talk rains then. So anyway, everyone have a great day trading. Really, take what I said to heart about now face is ending, and you know we just had some news. It's changing what's going on, and you'd be able to just move right into or already be in the members chat right now to be able to ask Steve who'll be leaving and Blake who left and Stelios and Amanda. All the pros in there are there to help you
And watch the rest of the
succeed.
webinars as well.
All of the webinars.
Yes.
Yeah, all of them. Okay, so remember, don't just count your webinars, count your blessings. And we'll see everyone tomorrow. I have a great interview, and I'm going to message them 10 times that it's 8:30 now, the new time slot. And that's a wrap for us here in Face,
Bye
everybody.
bye.
Thank you.